And so how do you describe the show to people who haven't seen it? Like, when you're telling people about the show, what do you say?
I usually say it's about a guy who kind of walks the political road ambiguously. He just wants to be left alone. He wants to do his art. He wants to, do his work and just have a little bit of fun and go home and hang out with his friends and not really be bothered. He knows what's going on in the world, but doesn't know if he has a voice. And if he did have a voice, he didn't know what good it would be. No one would listen who would care, right? Until something happens to him one day and he has to make that decision. He's an intellectual guy, he's a bright guy, and he does have a huge fan base of people that follow his work. And the question is what do you do with a voice if you realize you have one? Do you put it to good use, or do you just take the paycheck and go on about your merry way? So, and that's how I describe the show to people. And also I pose that question to people as well. What would you do if you suddenly were faced with this thing that was consuming your life, this bout of racism all of a sudden that seemed like it came from out of nowhere? What would you do? Do you speak up, even if it could cost you your job, your career, your livelihood? Or do you stand by the wayside and kind of let everybody else handle it? For the longest time in my life, I just felt like, we got smart people like you. You know what I mean? You got to do it. I'll leave that to you. I'll leave that to everybody else out there. I'll leave that to Cornel West. Even if you have the smallest bit of intellect on a subject matter, speak on it. Address it, because it's not just about educating people. It's also about what you put out there, seeing what's going to come back to you. A lot of folks out there feel like they don't have this voice, or they don't have knowledge on a situation. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't want to get canceled, which I get and I understand. But always be a work in progress. Always be learning.
Hey, tune into the Carlos Watson Show. It's like no other. You're going to enjoy it every weekday on YouTube.